Hey guys, it's Carl from GuitarBreakdown.com, and today we're checking out the end of the solo by Jimmy Herring on Scapegoat Blues. It's from his Lifeboat CD, and an amazing performance as always by Jimmy. Great tone, great feel, and of course a lot of chops. So let's just start off by talking about what is going on texture-wise in this particular song. He's working from the B-flat blues, but he does some really cool fusion stuff to it, especially by using the B-flat half-whole diminished scale. So first of all, let's check out the chords. I'll talk about that scale in a minute. The chords that are going on behind the solo and a lot of the song are derived right out of that B-flat half-whole diminished scale. And the first chord is like a B-flat 7 sharp 9, what we call the Hendrix chord. And let's take a look at what the notes are in that thing. It's B-flat on the bottom, and that's on your 5th string, 1st fret, and an open D, and then the A-flat, and then the D-flat. Okay, that's the first chord, and then the second chord is like a B-flat triad. Those 3 strings there, the 4th string, 3rd string, and 2nd string, F, B-flat, and D, but the bass note is a B natural. I guess if we want to think about it in relation to the harmony of the chord, it would actually technically be a C-flat, but it's a little weird to call it that, so we'll just call it a B. So we've got B, F, B-flat, and D. So the first 2 chords. And the next 2 chords are kind of using the same top notes, so just moved up a whole step from where we started, actually minor 3rd. So we have the F, B, and the E, but the bass note this time, rather than being like a Hendrix chord, it's going to be this bass note, the A flat. So then the next chord is very much the same as the one we played down here, the second chord. 4th chord's the same as the second, but it's up here. So but the bass player's got a low E under that, so it has kind of an interesting bass line going on. So we have this, and then this. Okay, now those notes from those chords all came out of that half-whole diminished scale. So let's just kind of take a look at the scale, and the scale itself is starting with the B flat is the root of the scale. Okay, then the B, which is C flat, a flat 9. Okay, and then it goes up to a whole step. See, this is what the deal is with a half-whole diminished. The scale is symmetrical. It just alternates half steps and whole steps. So again, B flat to B, that's a half step, and then a whole step, so to a D flat, right? So then I'm going to move up another half step, and I've got a D. Okay, so we've got technically, I should call my D flat a C sharp because it's actually a sharp 9. So we have root, flat 9, sharp 9, and then the 3rd of the chord, major 3rd. Okay, then we have the tritone, the E. Okay, and then we have the regular 5th, the F, and then we have G, which is the 13. And then we have the flat 7, and then we have the root, and then it would repeat however far you want to go from there. Okay, so that scale just slowly in this position. However far you want to go with that. Okay, so that's what those chords came from. All those notes just came out of that little scale. Okay, so that little phrase at the beginning is it's a bunch of little triplets. It starts on the and of 1. Also, forgot to mention the rhythm of or pulse of the song is in 6. So Something really important to remember there too. So it starts on the and of one, and it's a triplet on the and of one. So this first lick is sextuplets, or 6 notes per beat. Okay, so it repeats that first one little segment. So they're little segments. E, F, and then to the A flat and the B, and back. Okay. So that little lick. Okay, so the next thing that happens, the next segment, he repeats the, and he moves this part up. Okay, so F to G, or actually G to F to G. Okay. Okay, and then he jumps up. So jumps up to the D, F, D. So that's. And then kind of the tricky part of it, to get these fingers involved, is that. So we've got. Okay, so let me just kind of go through those notes right quick, starting at the F, or rather the D. So D, F, D, B, B flat, B. Okay, and then he shifts. And then it's the C sharp, E, C sharp, and then kind of jumps back to those first notes, the F, E, F. Okay, so that little phrase. Okay, now that phrase is going to continue on down, and he repeats a couple of these little segments as he moves the phrase down. Now, a thing to remember about the symmetrical scales is that often the patterns will repeat as you move, you know, a certain distance down the fretboard or up the fretboard. So in the case of the half-whole diminished scale, or either of the diminished scales, we're talking about the half-whole one, and you could have a diminished scale that starts with a whole step as well. But the one we're talking about today, or either one of them, they repeat every minor third. So you're going to see this happen in the sequence as it moves down. So we have this little phrase. Once he gets to this phrase, starting on the D, those two together, it's like 2 segments. Okay, now he only does them once. I'm just repeating to show you. So then he just moves down a minor third with those same 2 shapes. So the second place that he plays them, the pattern shifts. Right, it actually anticipates the shift. So we have. Okay, so jumps to that B first. So then it pulls off, or hits the D and pulls off. And then the tricky one where you have to use the third and second fingers. And each one anticipates the shift. Okay, so. And I think you'll notice, once you're doing this, you're going to notice how that's just a repetition of the same thing that was up here. Okay, so we have, again, I'm just going to walk you through the notes. B, D, B, and G to A flat to G, and then the shift to the B flat, and then the C sharp to D, C sharp, D, and then another shift. Okay, and then the shift down. I made a mistake there. It wasn't A. It shifts down to A flat. So this repetition here. Okay, so now it's going to be A flat to B, A flat, and then the weird fingers again, the F to E to F, and then the anticipation for the next pattern starting on G to B flat, pull off to G, and then B, B flat, B, and then he moves up to this note to anticipate that next section. So let me just play through that whole section, the first part of this, from the beginning, and you can kind of see how it works. Okay, so that section will then move into the next phrase, which is a little bit reminiscent of what happens earlier in the solo, so a little kind of just a phrasing thing. So okay, so that thing he anticipates again by jumping to with the first finger from that last bit. So that's starting with the anticipation, be A flat to B flat, B, B flat to A flat to G, and it's got a little bit of a swing feel to it, kind of jazzy. Then it moves up to C sharp to B, so sharp 9, flat 9, and then it moves up to the tritone, to the E. Okay, so okay, so now the next phrase is going to pick up back in the same little familiar pattern. So we have B flat, a little bit of a sequence, B flat to the sharp 9, the C sharp, down to B, and then we have this little phrase, so E, G sharp, B, B flat, so 9th fret bar, B, B flat, and then it does a little repeat of the first two notes, E to G sharp to the G natural. So we have that next phrase starting with F, E, F, E, D, to the D flat or C sharp, B, and then back up to the C sharp, and then down to the root, the B flat, and then a little slide. So that part, okay, so you want to make sure you understand the timing of all this stuff. You want to maybe just break it down, work with a metronome. That's how I learned to stay in time with it. Figured out the timing, and then just slowed it way down. So anyway, that's pretty well the solo, and in the next segment we can talk some about the theory of that half-whole diminished scale. And also I want to talk about the technique of that first lick.